Hello, everyone. Welcome back to English Horizons, the podcast where we help you unlock your potential and take your English skills to new heights.
That's right. We're here to make learning English fun, practical, and something you can use every single day. I'm James.
And I'm Violet. And today's topic is a big one: how to improve your everyday English.
This is for anyone who's tired of just learning grammar rules and wants to actually sound natural when they speak.
Exactly. We're going to share tips that fit into your daily life, so no matter how busy you are, you can make real progress. Let's dive in.
Quick question. Have you ever thought about how much your English could improve if you made one tiny change to your routine?
Ooh, good one. Keep that in mind as we go through our tips, because sometimes the smallest shifts can lead to the biggest breakthroughs. All right, before we dive into the specific tips, let's talk about why focusing on everyday English is so important. James, what do you think?
Well, think about this. Everyday English is the language we use for 90% of our interactions. It's the casual chats, the quick exchanges at the store, the friendly "how are you" conversations that happen all the time.
Exactly. And let's be honest, if you only know formal English like the kind used in essays or business meetings, you're going to feel stuck in real-life situations. Everyday English is what helps you navigate the world naturally.
Plus, it's not just about words, it's about how you say them. Everyday English often relies on tone, expressions, and even body language to convey meaning. For example, saying, "Could you pass me the salt?" with a smile is very different from saying it in a monotone voice.
Oh, great point. And let's not forget, when you focus on everyday English, you're also learning the culture. You pick up things like politeness levels, humour, and how people express emotions, which are just as important as the words themselves.
And here's the best part. Improving your everyday English is one of the fastest ways to see real progress. Since you're practicing skills you use constantly, you'll notice a difference almost immediately.
So, if you're feeling nervous or stuck, don't worry. With the tips we're about to share, you'll see how doable and even fun it can be to make progress.
All right, let's jump into our first tip, which is all about small talk. Now, I know small talk gets a bad reputation. It's often seen as pointless chatter. But in English-speaking cultures, it's a huge part of social interaction.
Exactly. Small talk might seem like it doesn't matter, but it's actually a way to build rapport and ease into deeper conversations. Think of it as the foundation for better communication.
So how do you get started? Well, one of the easiest ways is to stick to safe, universal topics. For example, the weather is always a winner. It's such a nice day today, isn't it? Or, wow, it looks like it's going to rain later.
And here's the trick: don't stop after the first response. If someone says, "Yeah, it's really sunny," keep the conversation going by adding something like, "I know I love sunny days. Do you have any plans to enjoy the weather?"
Oh, that's a good one. People love when you show interest in their day or plans. You don't need to be overly personal, just curious and engaged.
And if small talk feels a bit scary, start practicing in low-pressure situations. For instance, try saying something friendly to a cashier like, "You guys are so busy today. Has it been like this all morning?" It's a quick exchange, but it builds your confidence.
Or practice with yourself. Stand in front of a mirror and imagine you're chatting with someone about your day. It might feel silly at first, but it really helps you get comfortable with the flow of conversation.
Now, let's move on to vocabulary, which is something a lot of learners struggle with. I mean, how many times have we all tried memorizing long word lists, only to forget half of them the next day?
Oh, absolutely. That's because memorizing words without context doesn't give your brain anything to latch onto. Instead, focus on learning vocabulary that's relevant to your life and interests.
For example, if you love cooking, start with words you'll actually use like stir, boil, season, and bake. And don't just stop at the words, learn phrases too. For instance, "I'm going to season the chicken with salt and pepper."
I love that approach. Another great strategy is grouping words by category. So if you're learning about transportation, group words like ticket, schedule, platform, and delay. This makes it easier to remember because they're connected.
And don't forget to use what you've learned. Write down new words and practice them in sentences, even if you're just talking to yourself. For instance, if you learn ingredient, say, I need to buy some ingredients for tonight's dinner.
Oh, and apps like Anki or Quizlet are lifesavers. They make it easy to review vocabulary on the go, and you can even add pictures or audio to make your flashcards more interactive.
The key is to make vocabulary learning active and practical. If you're using it regularly, it'll stick.
Now, this is one of my favourite tips: immersion. The idea is simple. Surround yourself with as much English as possible, even if you're not in an English-speaking country.
And the good news is, with the internet, immersion is easier than ever. You've got podcasts, YouTube, TV shows, movies, you name it. Pick something you enjoy and make it part of your daily routine.
If you're a beginner, start with shows that have clear and simple dialogue, like Peppa Pig or Bluey. They're made for kids, but the language is perfect for learners.
If you're at an intermediate level, go for sitcoms like Friends or Brooklyn Nine-Nine. The conversations are realistic and packed with phrases you can actually use in real life.
And for advanced learners, documentaries or dramas are great because they introduce more sophisticated language and complex ideas.
But here's the thing: don't just watch passively. Pause when you hear an interesting phrase, repeat it out loud, and try to mimic the speaker's tone and rhythm. It's like practicing lines for a play.
Music works wonders too. Find songs you love, look up the lyrics, and sing along. It's a fun way to practice pronunciation and learn new expressions.
Let's move on to speaking practice, which is probably the scariest part for a lot of learners. I mean, who hasn't been afraid of making mistakes or sounding silly?
Oh, absolutely. But here's the thing. The only way to improve your speaking is, well, to speak. And the good news is you don't always need a partner to practice.
Exactly. One of the best ways to start is by narrating your actions or your day, just to yourself. For example, if you're cooking breakfast, you could say, I'm cracking an egg into the frying pan. The yolk looks perfect. And now I'm adding some salt and pepper.
That's such a great tip. And honestly, it's so low pressure. You don't have to worry about anyone correcting you or judging you. It's just you getting comfortable forming sentences.
If talking to yourself feels weird, try talking to your pet. Trust me, they're the most supportive audience you'll ever have. You could say, "Okay, buddy, let's go for a walk. Do you want to play fetch today?"
Another option is to use voice assistants like Siri, Alexa, or Google Assistant. Ask them questions like, what's the weather today? Or set a timer for 10 minutes. It's a small way to practice interacting in English.
And when you're ready for real conversations, apps like Tandem and HelloTalk are amazing. They connect you with native speakers who are learning your language so you can help each other out. It's like a language exchange that fits right into your schedule.
The bottom line is, the more you speak, the easier it gets. Don't wait for the perfect moment or the perfect sentence. Just start talking.
Now let's talk about writing, which is such an underrated way to improve your English. I think a lot of people overlook it because they see writing as something formal or academic, but it doesn't have to be.
That's so true. Writing can be as simple as jotting down a few sentences about your day. For example, today I went to the park with my friend. We had a picnic and the weather was sunny and beautiful.
Exactly. It's not about writing perfectly, it's about practicing how to express your thoughts in English. And honestly, a journal is the perfect place to start because no one else will see it, so there's no pressure.
If journaling isn't your thing, try engaging on social media. Leave comments on posts or even write your own short updates in English. Something as simple as, "This looks amazing," or "I can't wait to try this recipe," is great practice.
And if you're ready to challenge yourself, try summarising something you watched or read. For example, if you watched a movie, write a few sentences about the plot like, "The movie was about a group of friends who went on an adventure. It was funny and had a great ending."
Another fun idea is writing messages or emails in English, even if it's just to a fellow learner. It's a great way to practice real-world communication.
Don't forget to ask for feedback if you can. Whether it's a friend, a teacher, or even an online forum, getting advice on your writing can really help you improve.
All right, let's talk about something that can really take your English to the next level. Idioms and phrasal verbs. These are everywhere in English, and mastering them can make you sound so much more natural.
Totally. But I know idioms and phrasal verbs can be tricky because they don't always make sense literally. For example, it's raining cats and dogs has nothing to do with animals. It just means it's raining heavily.
Or take the phrasal verb, give up. Instead of saying, I stopped trying, you can say, I gave up. It's shorter, more conversational, and something native speakers say all the time.
A great way to learn these is by watching shows or movies. Pay attention to how characters use idioms in everyday situations. For instance, in sitcoms like The Friends, you'll hear phrases like break a leg or kick it up a notch.
When you hear a new idiom or phrasal verb, don't just memorize it. Write it down with an example sentence. For instance, call off means to cancel. So you could write, they called off the meeting because the manager was sick.
And then practice using it. Try incorporating it into your own conversations or writing. The more you use it, the more natural it will feel. Next up is active listening, which is about more than just hearing words. It's about really understanding what's being said, including the tone and emotions behind it.
That's such an important point. For example, if someone says, "Oh, great," in a flat tone, they're probably not actually happy. But if they say it with excitement, it means they're genuinely pleased.
One way to practice active listening is by listening to podcasts or watching videos, then trying to summarize what you just heard. Ask yourself, what was the main idea? Or what was the speaker's opinion?
Another fun exercise is shadowing. That's when you listen to a short clip and repeat what the speaker says as closely as possible. Try to match their pronunciation, rhythm, and even their pauses.
And don't be afraid to start small. Listen to short, simple clips, like a news headline or a 30-second video, and work your way up to longer conversations or podcasts.
The goal is to train your brain to pick up not just the words, but also the context and emotions behind them. It's a skill that will serve you well in conversations.
Let's wrap up with one of the most effective and enjoyable ways to improve: joining English-speaking communities.
This could be anything from an online forum to a local club, or even a group of gamers who play online together. The idea is to find a space where you can interact with English speakers in a natural, casual way.
And the best part is, you'll pick up so much more than just vocabulary. You'll learn slang, idioms, and cultural nuances that you'd never find in a textbook.
If you're into hobbies like photography, cooking, or fitness, look for groups or forums where people share tips and chat about those topics. You'll be learning while doing something you enjoy.
And don't forget about in-person meetups. Websites like meetup.com often have language exchange groups or other activities where you can practice English in a supportive environment.
Surrounding yourself with English, whether online or in real life, creates opportunities to practice naturally and build confidence over time. All right, that's it for today's episode. We hope you found these tips helpful and inspiring.
Remember, improving your everyday English is a journey. It's all about making small, consistent efforts and enjoying the process along the way.
Here's your challenge for the week. Pick one of the tips we shared today and stick with it for the next 7 days. Whether it's practicing small talk, writing a journal, or watching English media, we'd love to hear how it goes.
Share your progress with us in the comments. We can't wait to see what you're working on.
Thanks for listening, and don't forget to subscribe for more practical tips and ideas to improve your English.
Till next time, keep practicing, keep learning, and keep shining. Bye for now.
See you next time. Bye-bye.